Good morning, Chris Northrup with the Upper Deck for Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm here today with Lynn and Jed Weisberger. Thanks for joining us, Jed.
Glad to be here. Nice Sunday morning, a little windy and 52 degrees in Bucks County. Good weekend. It's going to be 70s later in the week.
Yeah, as long as it's nice in Yankee Stadium later, we'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
No rain.
It's going to be chilly. Game time is 7, by the way. It's not 8, so that's good.
Oh, thank
Oh,
And David Cohn is in the booth, which will make it legitimately decent.
Yes, we love Tony in the booth. We got the start of the season rolling. Wanted to get your reaction to the opening day lineup, performance, just your thoughts in general. How'd you feel that went?
I thought they went real well. The flexibility of the lineup is really good. I mean, Donaldson can play third, he can DH for the rest the second day. Marwin Gonzalez can play the infield or outfield if it's needed. I like the fact that the only thing is they won 2 games by hitting home runs. And we're going to have to eventually try to score runs other ways. There weren't many hits besides that. I mean, but the lineup is fine. I mean, the fact that Rizzo was there for the whole season is excellent.
Yep.
If Gallo could get a hold of the ball, it's excellent. But there's lefties in the lineup that can put it out, and
Right.
that makes the lineup much more flexible for Aaron. Along with even with a 3-person bench, he's in good shape. I was pleased with it. They did make contact.
I love this lineup. I thought it was a great opening day lineup. Everybody was in there that I wanted to see. I mean, with the exception of Gleyber Torres. But it didn't cause me any grief to see Gleyber on the bench. There's going to be plenty of opportunities there is a log jam in the infield, but Boone assures us there'll be plenty of opportunities for all the infielders.
But he still pinch hit in that game and hit a sacrifice fly that was key to them winning the game.
Absolutely.
I'm liking who was 7, 8, 9 in the lineup as well, because with Gallo, Higgy, and IKF at the bottom, that's potentially setting the table for the big guys at the top.
Exactly. Plus, Higgy's going to hit. I keep saying that.
Yes.
It's only because I saw him in the minors for 3 years. He can hit. He's got power. But the best thing about Higgy was, you know how many pass balls there were in the 2 games? Try 0. Like, how about 5 strikeouts being stolen yesterday? Did you see that before by the catcher with framing and things like that?
Yeah.
How do you feel about just relax? How do you feel about watching the lineup and watching the Yankees, and you don't have to worry about the catching situation?
100%. And we were also talking last week about, with Sanchez being gone, this really moves Higgy up, and he just seamlessly took it. And it's his time now to shine, and hopefully, it's like, it reminds me when Girardi passed the baton to Posada.
Oh yeah.
And we know what happened with Posada, so I have hope.
What do you think about the Yankees?
He is better behind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you think about the roster? 16 pitchers, 12 position players. What do you think? That's a good way to start the season off?
Well, given that April, instead of having extra guys in September, you're going to have extra guys in April because spring training was short. I mean, the roster with 16 and 12 is fine, but I mean, it's a situation where it's because spring training was short and pitchers, as we've seen, are not stretched out. That's the way it's going to be. When on May 1st, it goes back to 26. I think you'll have 13 pitchers and 12 position players, or vice versa.
Exactly.
Probably 13 and 12, the way the Yankees like to do it.
Yeah. For the time being, it's a pleasure to see the bullpen, especially the extra pitchers in the bullpen. In the first 2 games, the bullpens played a big role.
They did, and a miracle happened with the bullpen because the Mets and the Yankees made a legitimate trade during the week. Billy Epler is now the GM, so I think you'll see movement between the 2 teams now, and the Wilpons are out, so there's no reason why more trades can't be made between the two teams. And it's easy because they just have to go across town half the time. They might be on the road, but it's not hard. And the guys are used to New York on both teams. But the Mets needed a left-hander, Joely Rodriguez. He looked great last night against the Nationals. He was throwing his curves in and out and his slider and everything like that. And the Yankees knew Castro from the years he was with the Orioles. And Castro looked good yesterday. I said Matt Blake is known for working on command with people, and I think Castro is really going to help. Yeah. I mean, in late innings, Weisberger, and Chapman will work better than putting Chad Green in that situation.
Right.
Things are gone, but I think the bullpen's good. I mean, and the kids are falling into their role. I mean, Mariachi comes up yesterday. Rizzo talks to him, tells him to relax, and then he throws a 98-mile fastball in his slider and strikes out Bogarts. So they're good.
And they're good. Let's not forget Michael King holding it down.
Yes. Michael King is your long man, and as long as Michael King gets his slider over the plate like that, it breaks late, he's going to cause problems. Michael King, these guys complain about Cashman. How about trading two guys they weren't going to use to Miami for Michael King a few years ago?
Yeah.
Caleb Smith and Cooper.
Yeah. Who?
Yankees Twitter, went berserk, I'm sure.
Well, Caleb Smith has carved a pretty good career for himself as a spot starter and as a reliever. He's a good kid. He played in Trenton. And when he first started, he had trouble, but he had carved a good career for himself. But the lineup's fine. The only thing I'll say is they won 2 games by hitting home runs, which is great. They're going to have to get hits and move runners and do other things to win other games. I'm sure they know that. That's why IFK is there, and IKF is there, and other guys are there. And Gonzalez is there to move runners, to bunt and move runners when they have to.
And is your prediction? Oh, sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is your projection, Jed, that we might be seeing Marwin sooner than later?
Well, I'll tell you what. Kiner Falefa was, you could tell yesterday he was pressing. He looks like, it's funny. I sent Didi a note. He looks just like you. Didi goes, I remember those first few games because I know him pretty well. Didi likes that right field in Philly, by the way. But anyway, Didi, when Didi came first, he was nervous. He wasn't hitting from either side. He made a mistake on the bases. He had 3 errors. When you come to Yankee Stadium, he's pressing a little bit. He made a couple good plays. The one double play, he picked the ball up from Glaber and got it there and things like that. But you could tell he's pressing a little bit. Yeah. And if that's the case, tonight's a Sunday night game. You need to play Marwin. You can't just keep Marwin on the bench. Put Marwin in at shortstop. Give the kid a break.
Right.
He'll be fine. He's not going to hit for power like Didi developed, but he's going to hit well enough. He's going to move runners. He can bunt. He's a good fielder. He can play third base when he has to, where he won a Gold Glove. He has speed. But, when you first come to the Yankees like that, if you're not Rizzo or something like that, you're nervous. There's butterflies, believe me.
Yeah, well, Yankees Twitter was merciless yesterday after the game, throwing in the towel on IKF. Not maybe merciless, but one fan at GoDJ2 said basically it's too early to pull the plug on IKF, but he would like to see Peraza every day.
2 games.
I know. And he said he would like to see Peraza every day. And I just had a laugh. Like you said, it's only been 2 games.
Well, one of the burner accounts put out a thing, DFA'd IKF and brought up Andujar. I made fun of the guy. Says, all right, so you want to bring up a guy who's never played shortstop and whose defense is legitimately lousy. Ray, Twitter, it's really funny. Somebody, there was an argument. There was some kind of Twitter argument the other night, and I said, I'm out of here. And somebody says, well, we value your opinions. You don't value ours? I said, look, I don't even value my own opinions on Twitter.
Well, I love Twitter. It gives, it at least inspires me to think, even if the people who write what they're right aren't thinking particularly all the time.
Chris is a subway car, and we're all in it together.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the train is stuck in the tunnel. We're stuck in each other.
Stuck in the tunnel between 42nd and 50th.
Well, another suggestion that I saw for IKF was using him, basically as the utility man, and DJs, having the everyday start. I see that as an option now and then, but that's not what's going to happen.
No, the kid is a good shortstop. He was third among shortstops in run prevention,
right?
Which is why they didn't sign Seager or Correa, who were way down the list compared to him. I mean, to have jitters in Yankee Stadium is nothing abnormal for pitchers too. I mean, it's the way it is. Marinaccio had jitters yesterday, and Rizzo came over and, like I said, and settled him down, and he was fine.
Right.
I mean, he's going to pitch here for a month and likely go back to Scranton because they have to cut a couple guys, and we'll see what happens. If he pitches better than some other guys, he'll stay.
Yeah. Were you surprised? Are you surprised at the homers, at seeing Rizzo homer 2 days in a row? Is his power surprising?
Not at all. I knew Rizzo when he was with the Cubs, and looking at Rizzo has lost he's lost some weight. He's in great shape.
He looks good.
COVID upset his season last year. He wanted to come back here. He was thrilled. He said he was worried they were going to sign somebody else to play first base. He was worried they were going to sign Freddie Freeman. He wanted to come back here. The Cubs would take him back in a second too. Yeah. But anyway, Rizzo's locked in. He made some terrific defensive plays yesterday.
Yeah.
He looked excellent. He made some terrific defensive plays. He saved about 4 plays in the infield. And he's locked in. I honestly expect Rizzo to have a year like he had in Chicago 1 year, a bunch of, 5 or 6 years back, where he hits 31 home runs and drives in 120 runs.
Oh, let's lock that in.
Then second, he may be driving less than that, but Rizzo's locked in. He wants to be here. He wants to lead them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Really
coming forward as a leader.
He's not talking about opting out at the end of the year, and I'm going to talk to 30 teams. So
Hello.
Yeah.
Well,
and Rizzo, I think, is both leader on the field, as he, obviously with his skills, he's going to be a leader. But also in the clubhouse and in the community.
Oh yeah, Rizzo's
such a big community guy.
Rizzo fits the Yankees. Again, it's all fit. I try to tell people this. And it's because it's always been that way. I mean, nothing has changed over the years except the money's different, and that's it. There's more money around. I mean, the Yankees, I had a talk with Cashman back, I think it was like 2009 or 10. I was at spring training. I pull into the complex, and I see Brian. Brian goes, Jed, do you have a good flight down? And I said, sure. He says, I'm going to have a good story for you. He goes, you're going to like this. He just got done talking to Oppenheimer and Stick and everybody. He says, we're going to make sure we reemphasize the farm system, which they have in the last 10, 12 years.
Yep.
He said, we're going to want to develop our own pitchers. He goes, we want to develop as many people as we can. He goes, we need somebody, Garrett Cole, we'll sign them. He goes, but we can do both. And this is the way the Yankees approach things now. Rizzo is a fit. Okay, I'm sure Freddie Freeman would have been a fit too. But Rizzo is a fit for what they want, for the clubhouse, the leadership, and the community. They know that.
Right.
He was here for half a year last year, and they saw that. Connor Falefa is a fit. He's a good defensive shortstop, and he'll prove that during the year. They don't need Correa went to Minnesota. I'll bet you $1 he'll opt out at the end of the year.
Yes.
See where else he can go. I mean, I love all our fellow writers, but the ones that said the Yankees were outfoxed to sign Correa was the dumbest story I've ever seen.
Well, that's true. But to play devil's advocate, for a moment, I did buy the Hal Sell the Team t-shirt this after the off season that we had, because I was disappointed that we did not land any of the big name free agents. Not one. All right, but that one.
So think for a second. Did they fit?
That's what I was going to say. I see the team that we built, and I like this team.
I do too. It's got more flexibility than they've had in years.
Yeah. I like this team. I don't, it doesn't bother me anymore that we didn't land Correa. I see the plan. I don't necessarily agree with it any more than I did. But if they can win the division, I think that anything's possible with this team. And I think they can win the division.
Well, you have to understand, Chris, and Lynn, I don't know if you feel the same way. The fans want the big names. But the big names are not often the best fit. I mean, the Red Sox do the same thing. I mean, they traded Mookie Betts. Okay, they do the same thing. The fans in Boston loved Hunter Renfroe last year. Hit all these home runs, drove in 100 runs. His defense in right field, horrendous.
Yeah.
But what do? They trade him to the Brewers to get back Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yeah.
Jackie Bradley Jr. is a better fit for the Red Sox in a lot of ways than Hunter Renfroe was.
Yeah.
It's not just, but the Yankees, as what I mentioned about Cashman, they're going to try to fit the right people in there. And the right people aren't always the big names.
That's right. And I really take heart in your story from Cashman, Jed. And, I think we're in a prestige-driven society overall.
Yeah.
And so, I think we're conflating the dynasty with like prestige. And it's a different definition of prestige to me. And the story you just told about Cashman was about the philosophy to me of what the dynasty means.
Yeah.
You're building your home, like the Yes series, it's homegrown. And that's what I've always wanted to see. And so it's good to hear that insight, because it's easy from our chairs to have the reactions that Chris and I both had. But it's just like Tom Cruise starring in a movie doesn't mean that he's going to win the Oscar and his best supporting actor is going to win.
Right.
I mean, the name does not drive success.
This is why I want to get the judge. I'd love to see the judge thing settled, and I think it will be.
Get into that.
Because he's homegrown. He came up with all these guys. What built the dynasty? Stick built the dynasty with the core four and the other people.
That's right.
I mean, and then they hired Joe Torre in 2006. They let Buck go, and I still think Buck got a little bit of a raw deal. I love Buck. I like Buck a lot. But anyway, it happened to be fit. Okay, they wanted National League Baseball, the Yankees to play some National League Baseball, move the runners and things like that. Mickey Stanley was the catcher. You put Joe Girardi in there. Joe Girardi's not going to have the power, but you've seen Girardi be mature into a solid manager. He's got his issue. He's got a challenge in Philadelphia, but they should be pretty good. They got hitters, but they don't have any pitching.
Right. That sounds familiar.
This is why I understand the judge thing on both sides, but they gave him a fair offer. And his agent that's his one main star, Paige Odell, and that's it. And we'll see what happens. But I mean, Judge is a homegrown star. You want to keep homegrown stars. And the other thing is there's more coming. Like if you want to follow these people, the MLB app is much improved. See what Peraza is doing at Scranton. See what Volpe is off to a real good start in.
That's a great idea.
Get the app and get to know these guys. I mean, the bit more questions I get on Twitter and people like Matt Cardos get is, well, what's this guy like? What's that guy like? Get the app. Matt still covers Somerset and very well, him and Mike Ashmore. I said, get the app and follow what these guys are doing. It'll tell you every game what they're doing. You'll know what's going on. So if you get on Twitter and say, geez, Volpe's hitting 335, and Cabrera has 20 home runs, can they come up? It's a legitimate question. Right. Because the team is seeing the same stuff. Like Cone yesterday with Marinaccio. he talked about how he was striking out 14 guys per batters per 9 innings. The team looks at that stuff. That's the same stuff the team looks at as stats. You want to know about prospects? Look at that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good. The app used to not be great, but now it's good.
Yeah.
Look at that stuff. And then you'll know where these guys are. And if you see Volpe's in 335 at Somerset, you know he's going to be going to Scranton Wilkes-Barre pretty soon because he's dominating.
Yep, I agree. I want to back up, though, for a second to the Judge contract.
Go ahead.
I want to say that from my own perspective, and let's just put the numbers out there. The Yankees, I don't know if Jed, if you said this, you probably did. 7 years, $350 million, and $17 million for 22, right?
What it was 7 years, $215 million plus.
$215 million?
Yeah, plus the 17 for
plus
2021.
Okay.
So 8 years, $230 million.
Okay, and then Judge wanted 10 years at 365. Am I off on that? That's what I thought.
According to confirmed reports. Yes, I didn't. I haven't talked to the agent. Okay.
Wow. And my reaction to that yesterday was, put your money where your mouth is.
Which he's doing.
Want to make that if that's your demand, you need to win a World Series. You need an MVP. You need to make the big splash that you've been telling us you want to make in New York. Do it. This is your year. Do it.
And if he does it, he'll get the money the day after the season.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And don't blame the agent either. I mean, the agent just has him, but if he would have accepted that contract, Page would get $11 million commission. So, I mean, as Judge, the guys have egos, okay? He sees these guys get, he sees Seager and Correa and these guys get 10-year contracts, but these guys are 4 years younger than he is.
Exactly.
He's 30. If he did that, when somebody said, well, the Yankees should have signed him when he was 28. I said, yeah, they're going to sign a guy that's injured to a 10-year contract.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a tough situation. The Yankees made a fair offer.
Yeah, more than fair.
If he wants to go out and he wants to put his toe into the free agent market and see what anybody else is going to offer him, let him find out.
Well, I think he indicated he's putting both feet in the free agent market by his little quote that he'll speak to 30 teams.
Yep.
He was frustrated. I mean, if I was him and I was sitting there and all the media people that have been ultra friendly to him are peppering him with that stuff, I mean, I could see why he might get upset and just say that because he knew that would stop the press conference. But
it also came from someplace in addition to that, though.
Well, who knows? I mean, whatever they're trying to do. I mean, what they're trying to do. What I will say is let them go out and test it. The only team that can give them that money is the Mets. The Dodgers have enough contracts. The Giants have enough True. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Right. The question is, where could Judge reasonably expect to land an offer that like what he's demanding? And I mean, I think the only place would be the Mets. Do you think Cohen would? He wants Judge to be the face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I mean, you got to. You sign him till he's 40, Chris.
Right.
Aaron Judge is playing pretty well at 30, and he has an injury history. What's he going to be like at 37? We don't know. We don't know. What's he going to be? A broken down DH, or is he going to still be able to run?
Exactly. Cohen has the money to just play with and do it.
Oh, it's marvelous. It's because now they even trade with the Yankees.
Boy, talk about the rivalry really going hot.
In New York, to be honest with you, in New York, as somebody who's covered so much in New York, I mean, I'd rather have both teams be good, to be honest with you. It's much more fun.
Well, and
the Subway Series was fun.
Look at how it worked out for Cano.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Cano is a broken down player now, and they're stuck with that contract. They might as well play him and with the DH, and they might as well play him at second base everywhere because thanks to Brady Van Wagenen, the Mets are stuck with that contract.
Right.
and that's not good. I mean, they're stuck with a player. I mean, you don't want the guy when he's 37. You don't know what he's going to be like. I mean, you pay, so the union will say, Tony Clark is a good friend. Well, you pay the guy for what he's done. Okay, but with Judge, if you pay him for what he's done, he missed big parts of 2 seasons.
Right.
The whole thing, if he has a great season this year, he'll get the money.
He'll get the money.
He'll get the money from the Yankees more than anybody else. If he doesn't have a great season,
yep,
bet on himself. I mean, hey, Mike Conforto bet on himself, and look what's going on with him. He doesn't have a job.
Yeah. Okay.
This sport, there's risk on both sides here.
Yeah.
My colleague.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about Conforto, but you're absolutely right.
Jack Curry comes from newspapers like I do, and Jack says he goes, I would write if I was writing it. There's risk on both sides. I totally agree with him. Tony said that too. There's risk on both sides, and all I care is for him to have a good season. I'm not going to rip him. I think he was, in my humble opinion, I think he was crazy for turning down $30.5 million, but he has every right to.
Right.
If he doesn't want $35.5 million, I'll take it.
Oh my God, Lynn.
But they're not going to pay me that much to write.
I want to go to the outfield for a second. Tell me what your thoughts are about Hicks, Jed, and also how you feel about the thought of Judge potentially playing more and more at center to also accommodate sort of the extras right now in the outfield, starting with Hicks.
He said he's more than willing to play center, so he'll play center. I mean, I like having those 3 guys. I like having Gallo, G and him in the outfield because it's the best defensive outfield if Stanton's in there.
Right.
Also Stanton is a much better hitter, like he was in Atlanta when he hit 59 home runs when he plays 130 games in the outfield. He doesn't have to play that many games in the outfield for the Yankees, but if he plays 50, that'd be great. Hicks got to show me if he can hit and he can play and stay healthy. He hasn't done anything.
No, he hasn't.
He's got to show me he can throw again after rotator cuff surgery.
I was just going to ask you about that. Do you think that Hicks's defense has suffered in the?
No, he still goes. He can still run. I mean, he goes and gets the ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a switch hitter. If Hicks was a switch hitter and he hit 260 and he hit 30 home runs, it'd be great.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
He did bunt once in spring training. Let's not forget.
Yeah, but he can, but IKF can bunt. Glaber can actually bunt. He did it in the minors.
Right.
Donaldson can actually bunt.
Well, let me mention this. Hicks said on CC's podcast that he wants to be a 30-30 man this year.
Yep.
I mean, what are the chances of that?
He can be a 30-30 man, but he better start hitting the ball. It's only he might still be. He better start hitting the ball.
I mean, you have to be on base to steal 30 bases.
Well, if you're going to strike out at sliders in the dirt all the time, we don't have Sanchez anymore, and we don't have Gio anymore with that. But I mean, he's going to strike out, he's going to swing at sliders in the dirt and strike out all the time. He's not going to be any 30-30 man. Plus, as you said, Chris, he's got to get on base.
Right. And the most bases he's ever stolen in his career is 15. So I don't know. I admire his aspiration.
Well, when you have a 7-year contract, you better have aspirations.
Absolutely.
Speaking of 7-year contract.
Absolutely. And Lynn, to your point, I love this outfield. Is that what you're thinking? Are you,
the big boy outfield is the best. It's the best defensively too. You got 3 good arms out there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, I'm thrilled. I don't want to see anyone else out there.
I want to see Gallo start hitting. That would be also another one to.
Well, Gallo's gonna. I'm hoping Gallo can bat 220, hit 30 home runs, and strike out 192 times.
Right.
Well,
unfortunately, that seems reasonable.
Isn't the shift supposed to go away late season? Wasn't that
It's supposed to go away next year, and the minor leagues are not allowed to shift.
Okay. Well, there's hope for next year.
You're going to get bases that are as big as your kitchen or living room.
I know.
I know.
Buffalo played in Trenton last year. You know, when Toronto was in Buffalo, so we got to see the International League in Trenton. And the bases, Susie and me are sitting in the back of the bases. I mean, my God, these things are huge.
Like air mattresses, huh?
Yeah, it saves 3 inches on going. It gives the water 3 less inches.
I'm thinking of a certain small in stature player from one of the biggest states in the union on base and him being lost on it.
Yeah, well, the three kids in AAA can steal. They have speed and they can steal.
Yeah.
I mean, and Volpe, he can run. He's not a base stealer, but I mean, I want to see what he does. I mean, like I was saying before, I mean, I want to see if he gets this. I want to see if he keeps this. He's off to a great start. I mean, he hit a ton of home runs in Class A, but when you get to Double A is a lot different than A's.
Right.
You know, so you get pitchers that throw in Class A. Guys get by on a fastball and a breaking pitch, and Double A, you have guys with 3 and 4 pitches. You have closers. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But I honestly think all comes to all, Judge is going to stay just where he is. I really do. If he doesn't, there's Brian Reynolds. There's Kettle Marte, who plays both second base and center field.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, the Yankees. I understand what Judge brings. He's the most popular player since Jeter. He has the Judge's chambers and everything. I understand the excitement he brings. Nobody brings the excitement as when I was a kid and when they oohed and ahed every pitch with Mantle. I'm telling you, nobody has.
Right.
No offense to anybody, but on every pitch it was ooh, ah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, nobody has brought that.
Right.
You know, like that in Boston with Ted Williams, and they'll tell you Yastrzemski or nobody's bought that either. I mean, but that was a different era.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when I was a kid and my $5 allowance would pay for a box seat and I still had money left to get a hot dog.
So fast forward to tonight, Jed, then how do you think, what do you think about Monty? What do you think we're going to see out of him? And at 11 o'clock tonight, will we be happy?
Well, no, there'll be a bunch no matter what happens. There won't be on Twitter. There won't be happy no matter what happens. Monty, what I want to see out of Monty is 5 good innings. Monty has great stuff. He was a little nervous last year when he was coming back from TJ. He didn't feed. You could tell he was worried and can I let it all out, which is normal. Sevy went through that. I saw Monty come up through the minors. He's excellent.
He's excellent.
He's excellent.
I love my Gumby.
He's excellent. I mean, he's a lefty. He's excellent. I mean, but now's the time for him to just go out there, relax. He's got to do what they always tell pitchers. You got to work quickly, throw strikes, and more importantly than anything else, trust your stuff.
Yep, exactly. He's long been my favorite starter. I mean, Cole is Cole, but Montgomery, watching him come up and just become what he is, what he's capable of, what he's already accomplished, we know, but what he's still capable of is anybody's guess. I mean, he was almost Rookie of the Year. He missed it not by too far.
Okay. What he needed, well, the thing is, he brings a different aspect, but he's a pitcher that has to hit his spots. Although he's throwing 94, which, oh man, he's throwing 94. He threw 94 in the minors.
Yeah.
He just didn't throw 94 after he had TJ.
Yeah.
He's capable of throwing 94. And if you mix it with the off-speed stuff he has, he brings another dimension.
Yeah. Yep. So Monty's number 3, Tyone number 4, and number 5, I say Nestor.
Nestor should be number 4 and Tyone
really?
should be number 5.
Okay.
Love it.
Nestor gives you quite an effort every time.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, Tyone was good in Pittsburgh. He hasn't quite been as good here.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hurt too. I mean, he's had injuries too.
Right.
He is injury prone. I mean, he beat testicular cancer, so him and Rizzo were locker room buddies with that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so, which is kind of cool. But I mean, I'm a cancer survivor myself. But anyway, it's a situation where Tyone's got to step up some.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. I believe that.
You know, he's got to step up. I mean, but so early. In April is different with 16 pitchers. I mean, in May, it's going to be different. And I still worry about a dead arm since spring training was only 3 weeks with some of these pitchers, because you usually get it after 4 or 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So you chill for an extra day and you're fine. But, you know, they could be getting a dead arm into the game. I don't know. Maybe Cole was trying to overthrow the other day, which I thought impressed in the first inning.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, Cole's first innings are what they always are. You used to try to get them then like Maddox, or you couldn't get them. But we'll see how it goes. I want to see 2 or 3 times through the rotation to see what they look like.
Absolutely.
That's smart.
I think
that's more time than Yankees Twitter will give them.
No, they won't give. Well, Twitter, it's you know, it's like during the winter. I'm there, and a bunch of other people pick it up too. It's Twitter GM season.
Instant gratification.
Monday morning quarterbacks in baseball.
Some of these guys, I put on there one day, I would like to see all these guys get to cover one game. One game to see what it's like. See what baseball in reality is really like. You would be shocked. It's so easy. I mean, this is why, I mean, the guys that broadcast the games don't say those crazy things because they're in the, you know, now thank God they're back in the clubhouse every day. For 2 years, we couldn't go into the clubhouse.
Right.
MLB wants me to do the Phillies, which they might do every once in a while when Todd goes on a West Coast trip. I told him I'd still do that. I mean, if I get on there, it's going to be great to get back in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's excellent. You got to keep us posted when that happens.
Not being in the clubhouse really hurt the coverage of the game, to be honest with you.
It did.
I mean, talking to you guys on Zoom is great. Trying to talk on Zoom instead of the clubhouse is not great.
No, absolutely.
Oh.
So it changed.
You know, I'll say, you know, somebody said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you guys are on Twitter, and I've been in the clubhouse for thousands of games. If I can't get into the clubhouse, and that happened last year, I can't pick up the player's mood.
Right.
I'm talking to the player in the interview room on Zoom. I'm not picking up his emotions or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a whole different thing."
Yep.
Yeah.
Rizzo says he's glad everybody's back in the clubhouse. You know, because you can't do your job 100% if you're not in the clubhouse.
That's right.
And I mean, if you haven't been a writer and you haven't been a media guy who did that, compared to all the other tweets on there, they don't quite understand this. But that's okay. They're fans.
They're fans.
A fan can say whatever he or she wants.
We're fans who think we're managers and owners and GMs.
Right, and as such, we love them all.
Right.
Well, God bless them. You go to Cuba, that's the only place where people can speak their mind about baseball.
So
well, thank you, Jed, for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Anytime.
So much.
With reporting this season in the clubhouse. We can't wait to hear more about that. You'll have to come back on after you do that.
I will. Like I said, I work for an international organization that the International Breed Association for Working Dogs, police dogs you see, and, you know, detection dogs and police, you know, and comfort dogs and things like that. That's their international organization. And
right.
I got into that and I enjoy it. And I enjoy watching the game as a fan.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, when you get to be our age, my age, you enjoy sitting in front of your 4K TV and watching baseball, you know, and you know what I mean? Well, when the weather gets nice, we'll be doing some stuff. I think we're going to go to Pittsburgh and see my 92-year-old mother-in-law. And we'll go July 5th and 6th, right after July 4th, when the Yankees are in Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice.
I have to warn my Pittsburgh friends that I'm going to be wearing my Yankees stuff. And
you better be.
You know, but the Pirates were the first team I covered. And like I always tell people, Chuck Tanner taught me the game in the dugout. And Charlie Feeney, the Hall of Fame writer who passed away a few years ago from Queens, who worked in Pittsburgh for 51 years, taught me the game of the press box. So they really gave me a good basis as to what covering it, and observing the game is all about.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys have a great Sunday.
Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And Lynn, I'm going to leave you to give our closing thoughts.
So don't forget, guys, to like, watch, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which, by the way, we've made even easier for you. We have this handy dandy QR code now. We're high tech. So when you see our tweet later, all you got to do is put your phone right over it. It'll link you to our channel, and you could subscribe and watch this episode. So until next week, don't forget, you'll always have a reserved seat right here on the upper deck. Let's get them tonight, boys.
All right, Yankees.
You bet. My closing thought is I honestly think Judge will be a Yankee in 2023. We'll see what happens.
All right. I agree with that 100%.
Take care.
Thank you again, Jed.